It's the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion. This is for Friday, the 10th of October. I'm Michael Groff. The ingredients are in place for a very active weather pattern over the southwest for the next few days. Plenty of moisture from former Hurricane Priscilla is moving in here. We've got a trough of low pressure to the north and west of us, stronger winds aloft, and when you put it all together, that will create multiple rounds of showers, thunderstorms, some that could produce heavy rain leading to flood or flash flooding. And especially tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, we'll have to look out for the possibility of at least a few strong or severe thunderstorms. Now, still a lot of questions as to where, when, how much precipitation there will be, how long all of this lasts, because we also have an additional wild card on the board, and that is a brand new tropical storm off the Mexican coast. That's Raymond. How will that play into our weather? So many questions. We'll try to find those answers as we dive on in just a moment. But before we do, it is Friday, and that means it's Photo Friday here. That's where we take a look at some of the photos and or videos that you guys have submitted. So first up, David Parnell. Last Saturday was the time. Holbrook High School was the place. They were playing volleyball. It was beautiful up north last weekend. It was actually beautiful across the entire state. Temperatures were below average. Those overnight lows were plenty chilly. So hope you had a good time up there, David. Thank you for those pictures. We always love to see what's going on all across the state. Beth in North Phoenix, beautiful shot of the sunset from the other day, Wednesday, before all of this active weather started to move in here. And then her garden out there, the flowers, they are loving this weather. And I can attest to that here at Studio B. And that's a little tease for a little shot from our garden here in just a moment. All right, we'll head up north, though, way up north into Montana. Buck up in Montana. Yeah, they got some rain, but it's not just rain. They also have snow up there. Yeah, 'tis the season. At least those higher elevations are starting to pick up plenty of snow. Won't be long, and we'll see lots of snow out here through much of the western United States. Yeah, it is already that time of the year. All right, and then we'll take a look at this shot from Dennis near Sky Harbor Airport. Shot of the sunset. Love to see that. Then we'll go to Jeff in Florence. A couple of good pictures down there. And again, some active weather across the state and beautiful, beautiful skylines to take a look at, too. Look at that. Then we'll head way up north and east as well. Joe sends in some pictures from Maine, where, of course, it's fall. I mean, it feels like fall up there. Saw some frost and freeze advisories over much of the Northeast in the last couple of days. It's really starting to cool down. And Joe normally is, I think he sends most of his stuff to us from Santan, if I remember right. I might be wrong. It might be Glendale. We have a couple of different Joes that send in pictures from across the valley. But anyway, he's up there. The fall foliage is out. Beautiful. And Joe's a talented guy because he also painted this scarecrow. Look at that. And that's very festive for this time of year. We could use a scarecrow out in our front yard, actually. Or we'll just use me because I'm plenty scary as it is, and that'll scare the birds off so we can grow some more grass. All right. Well, I mean, it is what it is. Speaking of what's going on in our yard, this is from our backyard. The one and only Michelle sent this in. This is our canna lily, and its name is Astronaut. Do we name our plants? Well, actually, Adriana named that plant many years ago. But yeah, the canna lily is loving that backyard. Used to be out front in a pot. Now we just put it in the ground out back and looking good. Natalie sends in this picture of a dragonfly who apparently posed for her. That's cool. Always good when Mother Nature cooperates with you. And speaking of, up in Willow Creek, this is from Steve and Renee. And it's looking very nice up there, up in the northwest plateau of Arizona. So cool picture there. Appreciate that. But we're not done yet. Of course we're not, because if there's any active weather to be found across the state, who's going to send in some time-lapse stuff? Ryan Seek, of course. Normally our monsoon photographer, but he's our action sort of photographer. I mean, with the active weather we have around here, I'm sure he'll be breaking out the camera. And this is from the back side of a storm. He was on the other side of this thing, near, or I think he was south of Florence, taking this picture. So, or these pictures, this time lapse. That is incredible. Thank you so much, Ryan. Thank you to everyone. We've been doing this segment for like at least 4-5 years now. It's amazing. Photo Friday. And I get so many questions. How can I send in my photos or videos? Well, it's my email address, groffshow@gmail.com. That's GROFF show@gmail.com for Photo Friday. All right, let's get into it here. The almanac from yesterday, 92 degrees was the afternoon high, 74 was the low, but that occurred after 11 p.m. with some showers and thunderstorms that moved into the area. 92 and 69 are the averages for this time of year. And we picked up 1/10 of an inch of rain yesterday, before midnight, and we had an additional 1/4 of an inch after midnight. So far, 35/100ths of an inch of rain at Sky Harbor. Yeah, that doesn't wipe out our rainfall deficit, but it's getting cut down quite a bit. And maybe, if we're lucky, we could eliminate that rainfall deficit altogether. And how about that? Today is the last day of the 6 p.m. sunset. After today, we go into the 5 o'clock hour. And we'll remain there until, I believe, the very end of January or early February. So that's cool if you like those shorter days. And I know I do because it means the cooler weather. All right, looking outside right now here, just before 9 o'clock, we've got some clouds out there. There were a few showers around earlier, of course, but those have since kind of moved out. We're sitting at 75 degrees at Sky Harbor, but it is air you can wear. Super muggy. Dew points at 70. Relative humidity 83%. You're going to cut it with a knife. Wind from the west-southwest at 7. The barometer is rising. All right, let's check temperatures across the area, mainly in the 70s to about 80 degrees here for most of the Phoenix metro area. And a lot of places did experience at least some light precipitation overnight, so that was good. Temperatures statewide right now. We got 53 at Flagstaff. It's 56 in Window Rock, 61 in Winslow, Payson, Show Low, 72 in Globe. And down to the south, 71 in Tucson. It's 80. That's the warm spot right now over there in Yuma. And dew points, of course, here in the lower deserts are in the 60s and low 70s. So it feels like kind of a muggy summer morning out there. And it's going to be kind of sticky out there through much of the day today if temperatures do manage to get up to their forecast highs of the upper 80s to mid 90s. It's going to be steamy this afternoon. Satellite picture out here across the southwest. There you see that spin in the clouds off the Baja. That is Priscilla, now just a tropical storm, weakening kind of rapidly, but that moisture is surging northward. To the north and west of us, there's that trough that's going to act on that moisture to really help to wring out all of this soup, all of this wetness in the air. So that should get the showers and thunderstorms firing up. Initially, kind of to our west today, we'll see more concentration over southeast California and the Colorado River Valley, but that's going to shift east by later this afternoon and tonight. We should see some pretty active weather in here. The watch warning map, we continue with the flood watch over much of southeast California, Arizona, and points north as well. Now for northern Arizona, Coconino County, actually most of these watches are now in effect through midnight Sunday morning. With the exception of northwest Arizona around Kingman and Mojave County, that's in effect until 11 p.m. tomorrow evening. Either way, the potential of flood and or flash flooding exists in and close to the watch area. Okay, the convective outlook for today. No organized areas of severe weather across the nation. Now, of course, we're in the green here in Arizona. Thunderstorms are possible. We've already had some overnight and early this morning. We'll see some more this afternoon. They should remain sub-severe. They should remain fairly minimal in intensity with the relatively shallow lapse rates that we have right now. Although an isolated stronger storm can't be ruled out, particularly across southeast California and southwest Arizona. But tomorrow, this is the day 2 outlook. We've got that marginal risk of severe storms across the northern part of the state, far northern Arizona, the Grand Canyon, up toward Page. Maybe some strong storms there that could put down some gusty winds. But I think there's actually at least a low-end threat for a few strong or severe storms here in southern Arizona tomorrow. And we're going to talk about that in modeling in just a moment. The tropics and the Atlantic Basin, we've got 2 systems on the board. And again, I'm not going to get on a big soapbox about this, but first we'll talk about Jerry. Jerry is going to just head north and then button hook to the east and stay far, far, far away from the United States. And that's good news. Then we've got Karen. Now, All right. 30 years ago, 25 years ago, the National Hurricane Center would have never classified a system like this as a tropical system. I don't know why they do this now. I like the guys over at the NHC. I think they do a great job, but this is just one of those things that in Met conferences, we talk about this a lot, whether or not we're going to keep naming these junk systems, giving them names, because this is up at 45 degrees north latitude, folks. This is not a tropical system. It does not have tropical characteristics. It is a cold core kind of system. It is a mid-latitude cyclone. This is not a tropical system by any definition. But that's a nerd rant for another day, I suppose. All right, out here in the East Pacific, we've got two systems on the board. There is Priscilla. I called her Patricia yesterday. I don't know. Priscilla. It's Priscilla, Mike. And then we've got our brand new tropical system on the board, and that's Raymond. First of all, Priscilla is down there off of the Baja, and that's not going to be classified as a tropical storm much longer. This is weakening. The remnants thereof, though, will be shifting up here into the southwest. That moisture, plenty of tropical moisture, will be around for the next couple of days, and combined with those dynamics, that'll help to give us some precipitation. But the wild card in this forecast is Raymond. Now, this is down here off the Mexican coast. This is not going to get very intense. And the thinking is this is going to kind of curve into southern Baja and move north. This is mainly, if it is going to impact Arizona, right now the current consensus is that this will affect mostly southeast Arizona or the eastern third of our state. This should generally not have much implications on our weather here in Phoenix. But if you're over toward Globe and the White Mountains, St. John's and Safford, and down toward Douglas and Bisbee, Sierra Vista, Nogales, Tucson, Marana, those areas probably see a little bit more of an impact from the moisture from this system. However, there's a small section of our guidance that kind of brings this moisture a little further to the north and west, late Sunday, Monday, and even lingering it into Tuesday for at least some widely scattered storms in our part of the state, better chances of storms in the eastern third of Arizona. So we'll watch this carefully and see how it plays out. There's the satellite presentation on Raymond. Looks okay. But this is probably not going to become a hurricane. This is not going to be around for much longer. Precipitation outlook. This is valid through Friday morning of next week. Rain amounts in Phoenix anywhere from generally 1 to 1.5 inches. But I will tell you that your amount will vary because some spots are certain to see a little less. Some will see a little bit more. In a setup like this, you can always get one of these very strong thunderstorms that produces 2, 3, 4 inches of rain in short order. Now, across southeast Arizona, down again toward Douglas and Bisbee and Sierra Vista, Wilcox, Safford. Some spots down there will no doubt see rain amounts of 2 to 4 inches plus. And along the rim country as well, we could see easily 2 to 3 inches of rain up there. We've already seen some pretty heavy rainfall totals, so we'll continue to see that through this weekend and possibly into early next week. All right, so what's going on with this weather pattern in more detail? To figure that out right now, let's take a look at the models, see what the future may hold. Here we go. This is the GFS, the 06Z run, valid at 5 o'clock this afternoon. This is the upper look at 500 millibars, about 18,000 feet off the ground. High pressure over the central part of the nation's heartland. Got this big trough of low pressure to our north and west, and that's going to start to enhance the winds aloft and the remnants of Priscilla moving into the region. So, what it all means for us down at the surface for the rest of the day today. Mostly cloudy sky. Yeah, we might see a few peaks of sun. It's going to be muggy out there. Our forecast highs are in the upper 80s and low 90s. It'll be interesting to see if we get there. And yes, with dew points in the 60s and low 70s, it's going to be real steamy. Widely scattered showers and thunderstorms around southern Arizona this morning. I'd say the better chances of any precipitation will be found further to the north and west of us for much of the day today. But by this afternoon, that axis of deeper moisture and better dynamics is going to start to shift a little further east. So let's take a look at that on the high resolution guidance. This is the HRRR at 2 o'clock this afternoon. And at that time, we'll start to see bands of showers and thunderstorms getting closer to the valley. And so even though there could be some isolated storms this morning, better chances by this afternoon. The rain will be generally light to moderate, but an embedded heavier shower or storm cannot be ruled out. So we'll start to bump those rain chances up, generally in about the 30 to 40% bracket for the day today. But by tonight, the rain becomes pretty widespread, and we'll bump the rain chances up to about 90%. This is 8 p.m. this evening off of the HRRR, and showers and storms should be with us. Again, mostly light to moderate rain, but some embedded heavier showers are possible, and that could lead to some some scattered flooding areas across the valley. As you know, it doesn't take a lot of rain for us to have at least some urban flooding here in the valley. So for tonight, other than that, we'll just continue with showers and thunderstorms and overnight lows generally in the 70s. All right, let's go to tomorrow. And this is kind of an interesting day because the dynamics are there, but the deeper moisture, we're going to kind of get rid of that band of showers and storms early to mid-morning hours. And it's going to be interesting to see how the whole day plays out, because if those showers kind of move on out by early to mid-morning, we start to get some sun going, that will add some extra thermodynamics, some destabilization to the atmosphere. We have stronger winds aloft. We have that trough to the north and west of us, but some drier air is going to start to work its way into the region by tomorrow afternoon. Now, given the stronger winds aloft, somewhat diffluent flow, that drier air could actually serve to steepen the lapse rates and make for more instability. And so if that sun comes out, that adds another component to the instability. So we'll have the showers this afternoon, tonight, and into early tomorrow. Then there should be at least a little bit of a break. If that does happen, what happens tomorrow afternoon? Well, this is the HRRR. This is at 6 o'clock this Saturday afternoon. This is the simulated radar product. And again, radar may not look exactly like this, but showers and storms for east, central, southeast Arizona. But kind of a band, a broken line, or some discrete cells, some showers and storms start to fire up across south central Arizona tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. So let's turn the geekometer all the way into the red here and show you a forecast sounding. Again, this is tomorrow at 7 o'clock off of the HRRR. And you've got the drier air kind of in the mid-levels now. You've got at least a little bit of helicity, because look at the shear values here. The bulk shear at 50 knots, over 50 knots. So that's pretty good for our part of the country for this time of the year. So naturally, we're getting some momentum here in these thunderstorms. The Corfiti downshear values are like up at 70 knots. That's very impressive. And we've got good mixing ratios, plenty of moisture, monsoonal levels of moisture still in the atmosphere. And this sounding shows, we've seen these soundings showing 1,000 to 1,500 plus joules per kilogram worth of CAPE with very little inhibition. So with the drier air and that diffluent flow, the air is going to rise more rapidly. It'll form somewhat deeper convection, and we could get a few strong or severe storms. And with the shear and a little bit of helicity, maybe a couple of rotating kind of discrete cells, why not? So some stronger winds, maybe some gusty winds to 60 miles per hour, and maybe some hail with these storms. We're going to watch for this threat tomorrow. Once we get a little closer, these convective allowing models, especially once we get kind of this out of here tonight, I'd love to see how these are looking tomorrow morning when we put together tomorrow morning's video, because there is that small chance. Now you see the possible hazard type on this sounding is marginal tornado. Again, with weak helicity, but still a little bit of helicity, I suppose, especially with, the Corfiti downshear values, a little bit of gusty winds, these outflows that we could generate, the momentum transfer here, from the stronger shear, the 50 knots or so of shear aloft. I guess theoretically we could get a brief spin up tornado in a setup like this too. I'm not counting on that. Almost everything would have to come together perfectly for that. But a couple of strong or severe storms are absolutely possible if everything kind of plays out as we think it will tomorrow. All right, other than that, tomorrow we'll keep that chance of rain going. Temperatures are a little tricky. I'd say highs 85 to 90. All right, let's keep it going. This is Sunday. Now we've got that moisture from what is Raymond going to be surging northward into Mexico. And some pretty heavy showers and thunderstorms across Sonora and maybe moving into southeast Arizona by Sunday afternoon and Sunday night. And the extent, how far that moisture gets to the north and west, that'll be interesting. But the day on Sunday, still, we have plenty of moisture around, scattered showers and thunderstorms. They'll be more instability driven, I feel. High temperatures on Sunday, probably in the 80s for the most part. And it'll still be muggy. So a little bit below average. Now here's Monday. And again, this is a wild card day. I still think we'll have a chance at showers and thunderstorms, probably somewhere. We'll keep that rain chance in roughly the 40% bracket-ish. And continue with showers and storms. Better chances over eastern and southeast Arizona. Depends again on the extent of the northwestern motion of that moisture from Raymond. Tuesday, I think we'll start to calm it down, though. Slight chance we could see some showers or thunderstorms. Better chances over eastern Arizona. But another kind of interesting onion in the ointment to this forecast, and that is a deepening trough off the California coast. This thing's getting pretty far to the south for this time of year. And so we could see some added winds aloft from this feature, but drier air is coming in too. So the extent of the influence that feature will have on our weather is somewhat limited. But we're going to watch that too and see what's going on there. High temperatures on Tuesday, again, somewhere in the 80s to near 90 degrees. All right, here is Wednesday. Right now, we got that trough off to the west of us. We'll keep an eye on how that plays out. Thursday, same thing. That trough is not going anywhere. It's going to kind of sit over the southwest. That should keep temperatures below average. 80s, maybe 90 for the warmest deserts, but I actually kind of suspect temperatures will be a little bit lower than this, and I've adjusted the temps down in our forecast to maybe more like the low and middle 80s by next Thursday. Because this really does look like this feature is going to give us some pretty good negative height anomalies. Maybe even an outside chance for a few showers and thunderstorms late next week. We'll watch that. Here is a week from today. This is Friday, the 17th. Troughing to the west, broad southwesterly flow, somewhat difluent flow, maybe. I mean, we've seen some runs where this feature suddenly becomes more of an impactful feature for us. Right now, there's not a ton of moisture, so a few showers and thunderstorms still can't be ruled out, though, with that. But the better news is temperatures will remain below average, probably low to mid 80s if that's right. Here's Saturday the 18th. Yeah, we're still pretty dry, pleasant temperatures in the low to mid 80s. Lows would be in the 50s and 60s if that works out. This is the end of the forecast period. Sunday the 19th. Another impressive trough is coming into the Pacific Northwest. So the wave train is rolling along, and that's going to keep temperatures continued below average around here. As for precipitation, maybe not with that feature just yet, but we have seen kind of out here toward Fantasyland, that low deepens into Southern California, and that could set the stage for some more precipitation opportunities, especially if, that's a big if, the tropics in the East Pacific stay active. All right, looking at rainfall for Phoenix, this is out through the 24th of October off the GFS ensemble, and the mean's about 1.25 inches. European ensemble is about 1.5 inches-ish, and the European AI, which, some of you have pointed out, has been crushing it most of the summer. It had us fairly dry, and then when it got wet, it sort of foretold of that. It's been doing a pretty good job. It's got 2 inches. Now, this counts some of the rain we've had this morning, but the ensemble mean is close to 2 inches on this. So that would be a best case scenario, I think, for us in Phoenix, but I have no doubt that some spots, could receive that kind of rain in a setup like this. Temperatures off the national blend of models. Hey, the trend is down, and we're going to stay below normal, or below average, as we go into next week, with daytime highs mostly in the low, maybe mid 80s. And lows, again, this is at Sky Harbor in the 60s, but, some of the cooler spots, especially if the drier air does come in, will be down in the 50s. It's going to feel like fall, finally. Fall, relative for us. Climate Prediction Center Outlook, CPC Outlook. This is for the 8 to 14 day period, October 17th through the 23rd, if this works out. Temperatures in central Arizona, pretty close to seasonal averages. Further to the west, below average. Further to the east, a little above average, at least based on probabilities, skewed a little toward above average. Precipitation is also skewed slightly toward above average precipitation during that time for most of us, except for the southwestern part of the state, where near average precipitation is the favored outcome. And that is going to do it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. My next video is due back here tomorrow morning. And should you happen to enjoy these videos, be sure to subscribe, like, share, click that notification bell, leave those comments, questions, and suggestions. If you're really enjoying what we do here, you want to support the channel, by all means do so, because we had a couple of people do that yesterday. And I thank you guys so much for that. That by clicking that thanks icon below the video here on YouTube, making that contribution to us that way, or via PayPal. groffshow@gmail.com is that PayPal address. It is groffshow@gmail.com for PayPal. Our Venmo is also linked up down in the description below, and of course you see it scrolling by on our banner down there at the bottom. So again, we really do appreciate all of you guys for your continued support. The executive producer of the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion is my OAO, the sweetest of all time, the Asian sensation and proprietor of sweetchildaz.com.org and the Facebook page of the same name, Sweet Child Arizona. Talking about my Michelle, check her out, blogs. And there's been plenty of those that she's been writing lately. Videos, everything Michelle related, Kylie related, Adriana related. It's all linked up down in the description below. So I highly encourage you to check out all of that. That would be super awesome and very cool of you to do that. But even more importantly than that is checking out Dan over at the Courtroom Files YouTube channel. The Courtroom Files on YouTube, courtroomfiles.com for all your Courtroom Files merch. Dan does a great job over there. And of course, tomorrow, 8 p.m. East, 5 p.m. Pacific, it's game night. I don't know what Dan will be playing tomorrow night, but tune in and find out. That's the allure. Of course, did I mention our streaming station called KMGX? Well, that's linked up down in the description below as well. All right. That's it. Thank you guys so much for watching and your continued support. You guys have been absolutely on fire lately with everything. Your super thanks. Love it. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate that. Your subscriptions, all of that, all of the views, everything, and your comments. I read each and every one of them. I appreciate you guys so much. We could not do this without you. Be safe. Enjoy the rain where you can find it. Have yourselves a great Friday and a wonderful weekend.